Hello, everyone. I'm back, and we're doing a deck list today because I just finished the remote fight tournament for Different Fight. Different Fight's remote fight tournament for his Twitch subscribers and YouTube channel members, and I came in top 8 and decided I wanted to share my deck list. So that's already on my Twitter, and I decided to also record one of these so I can go over in depth more my choices when building this deck and why I decided to make the choices I did in this tournament. So in this tournament, proxies were allowed for clan selection. However, I did not decide to partake in that as I wanted to see how far I could get with the current deck list. That would be without the promo and without Heal Guardians. Obviously, when those come out, you should run those, and I'll show you where you can take stuff out to add in those cards. But let's go ahead and start off. So we got our starter. Decided to run the Messiah starter as this is a Messiah deck list. Regular V-Series starter ability, draw one when rode upon. If you went second, if you basically went second, get a quick shield. Not much to say there. So let's go ahead and go on to our grade 3 lineup. So I'm running 4 copies of Alter Ego Messiah. This is our main grade 3 of the deck. So Alter Ego Messiah's skill, it has an act on once per turn, Soul Blast 1, put up to a total of 2 cards with different card names from your drop zone onto rearguard circles as locked cards. Now this is your main form of attack extending, unlocking locked rearguards, and then proceeding to attack with them again. Now, Alter Ego Messiah also has a second skill. When it attacks, this is the unlock skill. So you unlock any number of locked cards that any player has, and they each get plus 10,000 power until the end of turn. Not only are you extending into more attacks, you're making those attacks bigger than they already are, and that's very helpful for one of our other cards, as we will see later on in the list. Next up, I am running 2 copies of Harmonix Messiah. This is a secondary finisher to the deck. It has almost the same effect as Alter Ego Messiah, but Harmonix Messiah says that instead of Soul Blasting and getting 2 cards from the drop, you instead, on attack, search your deck for any card and call it to a rearguard circle as locked card. And then it has a once per turn auto ability. At the end of the battle, this Vanguard attacked. You can, if your soul has a grade 3 or greater card, counterblast 1, discard a card from your hand, choose any number of Fighters Luck's cards, unlock them, draw the same number of cards as cards you unlocked, and 2 of your front row rearguards get plus 15,000 power until the end of the turn. So, this card its second effect is only active when you have a grade 3 in Soul, so you already want to be riding over this on top of your Alter Ego Messiah. So you want to be going into your Alter Ego Messiah first, and then going into Harmonix. So then, that's how you get the second effect online. Now, the main thing with the second effect, 1, it gives you card advantage. You unlock cards, you're already doing that in this deck anyways. You're plussing a lot in terms of cards. I'll show you some examples of stuff you want to be calling with Alter Ego Messiah's first effect. And then also your front 2 rear guards will be getting bigger as well, similar to how with Alter Ego Messiah, your extended attacks will be getting bigger. But instead of powering up everything that was unlocked, you're only powering up the front row. Mainly why I want to be using this as a finisher rather than a main grade 3. Also in the grade 3 slot. Now, this is where a lot of people were confused, including Different Fight himself. I only run 2 of the order. Now, why do I only run 2 of the order? Well, that's because I don't really have a lot of space, and I feel like the order is where we can cut a bit, so I only run 2 of these. So the grade 3 order, Clear Frame, Whirling Class of Cure Cleansing. So, choose one of your circles, unlock the locked card in that circle, and stand the rear guard on that circle. If you unlock the locked card, if you unlocked or stood a card, you draw a card. So once again, this is another form of plus. You don't really plus, you break even with it. So you have a locked card on grade 3. You play quick frame, goes to drop, unlock, draw a card. So you're not, I guess you technically do plus because you do get an extra attack during main phase. But I felt like this could be where you cut a little bit. So I originally ran 3 copies when I was testing this, but I decided I can go a little bit less and run 2 of these, because I would run 3 of those and then only one Harmonics Messiah. But then I wouldn't be able to really go into the Harmonics Messiah all that much. It would either be sent to damage or something like that. So I decided to run 2 of them instead, so that way even if one of my Harmonics Messiahs went to not drop zone, to damage, I would still have another one to go into towards the end of the game. And I really didn't use Clear Frame more than once, maybe twice whenever I was testing this deck. So that's another reason why I felt like I could cut down a little bit on the Clear Frames. Instead of running 3 of them, I decided to run 2 of them instead. Now, of course, since we are playing Messiahs, we will be playing Genesis Machine Deity Volko Goad. Now, Genesis Machine Deity Volko Goad has effects. Continuous, this card cannot be ridden. Auto on rearguard circle, when placed, retire this unit. And auto on rearguard circle, at the end of the battle this unit attacked, lock this card, and one of your other units gets plus 10,000 power until the end of turn. Now, those of you that are not familiar with this deck might be thinking, okay, it auto-retires itself and you can't ride it. How are you supposed to get this thing on board? Well, that's easy. Those effects do not apply when you call it as a locked card. Because, one, the auto effect on call only happens when you call it face up. So when you call it as locked through your unit's effects, the auto effect does not go off. And this is like one of your main beat sticks when you're playing this deck. As one, it's 30k base. It's great. Like, of course you're going to be wanting to use this as a beat stick. Also, it powers up your other units when you lock through its own cost of locking it. And of course, we are once again, through the effects of Alter Ego Messiah and Harmonics Messiah, able to unlock that card, once again being able to extend attacks with it and powering up units as well through Volko Goad's skill, as well as powering up Volko Goad himself through the effects of Alter Ego and Harmonics Messiah. Now, I only run 3 of these as you don't really need 4. At max, you're only gonna, of course, you only have 3 front row circles. So even if you go into the double Volko Goad, that's 2 you're not really using. So one of them could be in drop zone. Also, even if they get retired, you can just recycle them through the effects of Alter Ego Messiah. So the only trouble is if these cards get bound face down. But once again, you only really need a backup. Really, most of the time you're gonna run 1 along with a separate attacker, and you only really go into the double one if you're really pushing in hard towards endgame. That's why I only run 3 of these. You don't really need 4. If you do want to run 4, I guess you can. You could probably cut. I don't know what you would cut. Maybe a Harmonics for an extra Volko Goad. I don't recommend it, but you could if you wanted to. Now going on to our grade 2 lineup, I run, of course, 4 copies of Lady Fencer of Matter Transition. Now the Lady Fencer of Matter Transition is one of your other main attackers. As her effects, as we can see, she only has 1, auto on rearguard circle. When this unit attacks, if you have a Vanguard with Messiah in its card name, this unit gets plus 5,000 power until the end of battle, and at the end of that battle, lock this unit. So, once again, she's able to lock herself, allowing us to unlock her mid-battle and extend to more attacks. So this deck can output at max about 5 attacks per turn, which I think is very good, along with the immense power gain this deck is able to generate through the Messiahs and through Volko Goad. It's, as we can see, as we will see when I go over some combos later, we can go into Force 1, but it's not necessary. It's very fine if you want to go for those higher power numbers, but really you're going to be wanting to go into Force 2 instead of Force 1 to threaten crit pressure. Now the last grade 2 that we run is 4 copies of Counter Kill Strike Gastur. Now Gastur's effect is auto on Vanguard in the rearguard circle. At the end of the battle, at the end of battle, it attacked a Vanguard specifically. Cost counter +1, put a card from your hand as locked card, and draw a card. Once again, we are able to farm cards with this card, as well as getting locked cards out onto the field. And you might not think about it, but this card is an attack extender in and of itself, as, when we go into the combos later, I'll show you, you can actually use Gestur's effect to overcall something from hand on top of himself as a locked card, and then you're able to unlock it mid-battle, once again giving you an extra attack. Now, on to the grade 1 lineup. So I'm going to start off with my 3-ofs first. So I run 3 of Bending Solid Bit, Van Manen. So Van Manen's effect is when this card, it's auto on rearguard. When this unit is unlocked, draw a card. Once again, it's another way to farm cards, as we are going to be constantly locking and unlocking units anyhow. So this is one of your main call targets for Harmonix Messiah specifically, as from deck, you're able to just, when attack, call as lock, and then through Harmonix Messiah's skill, unlock, you're able to draw a card mid-battle phase. As well as it's very good guard fodder too, because you want to be getting stuff into the drop zone for Alter Ego Messiah's skill as well. So it's good. You can run it at 4. I personally don't think you need to, considering the amount of draw power we already have in this deck. So I run it at 3 personally. You could run it at 4 and probably skip on some of the other grade 1s, as we'll see later. But another 3-of that I run is Lady Battler the White Dwarf. Now, Lady Battler the White Dwarf is our grade 3 searcher. Her first effect of getting power gain from bound cards isn't very helpful, because we don't bind any cards in this deck. So we only really play her for the grade 3 searcher skill, which is auto and Vanguard Rearguard. When placed from hand, look at the top 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 grade 3 from among them, and put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck, and if you put a card into your hand, discard a card from your hand. So your basic regular grade 3 searcher skill. So you can search both Alter Ego Messiah, Harmonix Messiah, and the Clear Frame. You cannot search Volko Goad, as the skill only stipulates grade 3, not grade 3 or greater units. So if you wanted to, you could skip out on one lady battler and put in a 4th Van Manen if you wanted to. I once again personally don't recommend doing that. But go ahead and play around with that if you think that it'll work. I found in my testing that it's better to just have it as a ratio of 3-3 rather than 2-4. But once again, go ahead and experiment that with your own pace. This is another card you could skip out on one of to put in another Van Manen if you wanted to, and it's Destiny Dealer. Destiny Dealer has 2 effects. It has a Vanguard effect and has a Rearguard effect. So its Vanguard effect is auto. When placed, look at the top card of your deck, put it on a Rearguard circle as a locked card. Now, this is one of your main ride targets for your grade 1 turn, as you're able to get locked cards onto the field as quickly as possible. And who knows, maybe you could high roll into getting an early Volko Goad, maybe high roll, like a more mid-tier high roll is getting the Lady Fencer. Like, yeah, that's the main reason for wanting this as one of your main grade 1 ride targets. And second effect is on Rearguard Circle. It's an act skill. You can only play it once per turn. Its cost is Soul Blast 1, and when you do that, you're able to essentially do the same skill as the auto and Vanguard Circle skill. So you look at the top card of your deck, put it on Rearguard Circle as a locked card. It's a good way of filling up your board if your board's pretty empty after it gets wiped or something. It's good if you have one of these. It gets cards from Soul into drop for Alter Ego skill, as well as getting cards onto board to extend into attacks. Now, my final grade 1 that I run is, let's go ahead and focus camera, Manipulator of the Void. Now, Manipulator of the Void is it's another attack extender. You can ride it as grade 1 if you want. I personally use it primarily as a booster. So its effects. It only has 1 effect. It's auto on Vanguard Rearguard Circle. When this unit attacks, or the attack and boosted hits of Vanguard. You may pay the cost, put a card from your hand in Graveyard Circle as a locked card and draw a card. It's the same effect as Gastur, except you do not need to counterblast for it. And yeah, it's a good card. I like it. I run it like I said, mainly as a booster. You can ride into it as a grade 1 ride target if you don't have Destiny Dealer. But the thing is with it is it's only good as a grade 1 ride target if you go second. Otherwise, you're not doing anything with it. So if you go second, yeah, go ahead right into it, threaten the on-hit pressure. Well, actually, here's the thing. This is on hit. Guster is on attack. So there's pros and cons with each of them, but you can threaten the on-hit pressure on if you went second on the grade 1 turn. But that's really the only case where you'd want to ride into this. You mainly want to be riding in a Destiny Dealer so you can get that free locked call from the top of the deck. But yeah, so our trigger lineup. I am running 4 draw PGs, because of course I am. You want to be running these if you're playing V Premium. They are the best. We just don't have any room in the grade 1 lineup for the grade 1 perfect guards. So we run these. We run the draw PGs as, yeah, we're drawing enough as is, but the 30k Sentinels aren't really all that. Like, you can use them. They are good if you want to run a more aggro version of this deck. I prefer running the draw PGs just so I can survive larger hits, just in case games go on longer. And it really saved my butt in the tournament today, because game 1 of top 8 lasted 40 minutes for me. So having these cards, and I was going up against bunnies, and some of the fact that bunnies are able to do the multiple Vanguard swings, having perfect guards instead of the 30k crit Sentinels is a much, much, much better tool to have in that case. I'm running 4 heal triggers. I'd say once Heal Guardians come out, you probably want to run... I actually haven't really tested with the Heal Guardians yet, but I'd say maybe a 2-2 split, maybe a 3-1 split for the Heal Guardians. 3 Heal Guardians to 1 regular heal trigger. So that way, yeah. But as of right now, running 4 vanilla heal triggers in the deck. Next up, we are running 8 crits. 8 crits just because crits are significantly better than stand triggers, just in general. So yeah, the last 8 slots for triggers, we run 8 crit triggers. So then, how about we go into some lines of play, shall we? Let's see here. All right. So then, we got our starter. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What are we starting with? We are starting with a Destiny Dealer. That's good. We have a Manipulator of the Void, Lady Fencer. In this case, I would say put back the Manipulator of the Void and the heal trigger to game 2, because we really, really want to start with Alter Ego Messiah. So in this case, we actually draw into the exact same cards, which is quite fun. Okay, so then we go ahead and reshuffle. Let's say we will be going first in this case. And, okay. Don't need to shuffle all that well, let's just demo purposes. Okay, stand up Vanguard, we're going first. We would ride into Destiny Dealer, we draw. Okay, and then we do Destiny Dealer skill, look at the top card of the deck. Oh, whoopsie. Oh well, sometimes that happens. That'll happen a lot when you do that. But in this case, we at least have ride targets, so we won't have the G assist. So that's our first turn. We pass, we reveal. Oh, Alter Ego Messiah. Oh, okay, let's say they crit. Okay, 2 damage. Nothing. Okay, our turn 2. Draw for turn. Okay, we drew a draw PG. We would then, let's say, go into Gastur. And then we could go ahead and call Manipulator of the Void over... I'd say in this case we'd want to put that behind Alter Ego Messiah, just so that way we can get a little bit more pressure on this attack, both in power pressure and on hit pressure. So we then attack the Gestur. So as you can see, we have the Lady Fencer in hand. I did not call it because I'm going to want to call it to Gestur's skill so I can get that extra draw as well. So Gestur's effect, we check. We get a crit trigger. I do crit. Say they no guarded, we do crit power. Gestur's effect at the end of turn, I would, in this case, we'd want to counterblast the Destiny Dealer. That way, if we heal, we can put the Destiny Dealer in drop zone, and it wouldn't be a waste. So through that, we then call Lady Fencer as a locked card, and we draw a card through Gestur's skill. Okay then. Next up, we would then attack with Alter Ego Messiah. We threaten through a little bit of power. We've dealt 2 damage already, so they want to be guarding this. So they would guard probably, and then at the end of turn, reveal. Okay, let's say they're now on their grade 2 turn. Yeah, they're on their grade 2 turn. So we could do something like intercept, guard, something like that. And maybe we take a damage from a rear guard swing. Alright, so then we then stand and draw. In this case, we still don't have our Alter Ego Messiah, so we have to go into the Harmonics Messiah, unfortunately. We then go into Force 2. We probably put the Force 2 over here. So what do we got? We could, I'd say... I'd say keep cards in hand. We don't really need to call anything right now, as... actually, maybe in this case, instead we'd want to do... Maybe we'd probably put the Force 2 over here then. We don't need to be performing a bunch of attacks this turn. We could just go ahead and just farm cards. So we'd attack with Harmonics Messiah. Let's say they perfect guard. So okay, first check, second check, Volco Goad. Okay. Now they know we have a Volco Goad in hand, so this becomes even more threatening now, as one, it's crit pressure, it's a 21 line. And we have the on-hit pressure from Manipulator of the Void, as they now know we have a Volco Goad, so they know that we could just call Volco Goad as a locked card if that attack went through, so we're pulling more cards out of their hand. Okay, let's say their turn, they dealt another 2 damage, they put us to 5, oh, there goes that, oh, there goes that. We're at 5 damage now, we stand, and then we draw. Still don't have anything, unfortunately, so this is a bit of a more slower game. Well, not slower game, this is more of a game that's pretty bad on us. So then, let's say we would... what could we do in this case? In this case, we could... Oh, wait. We would have been doing that. So we would have actually... Oh, well. But anyway, you get the general gist of it. I hope you get the general gist of that. There were a couple misplays there because I was going a bit fast with it. But we should have also activated Harmonic's skill to grab something from the deck, call it as lock card. Quite possibly, you want to be calling your Van Manens, so at the end of the turn, when you unlock it, or it'll just naturally unlock at the end of your turn, you just get an extra card in hand for your opponent's turn that you could guard with. But yeah, that's the entire deck list. I do hope y'all enjoyed watching. Please go ahead and like and subscribe, do all the comments things. In the comments, just tell me what you would do with this deck. What changes would you all make? I'm very curious, because I did pretty well with this deck list. Once again, there were things I could have done, mainly lines of play I could have done better. a couple times where I did a couple misplays, mainly with distributing power through trigger checks. But yeah, I will have a link to my Twitter down below if you want to follow that. I do tweet occasionally, every so often. Watch some of the other videos as well. I'm still working on that premium deck list for Neo Nectar. I'm waiting on some cards to come in. So once those come in, I'll be showing you that deck list as well. Yeah, once again, thank you all so very much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.